Well, hello and welcome back, and thank you for coming back. Today we're going to take you from downtown Kato Paphos, exactly outside the Paphos Kings Avenue Mall, which is there, and we're going to take you on a little drive with us, and we're going to go to Coral Bay because we've got a few little special videos to make for some very, very special people. Before we start, Ms. Oching will see you in a booth. What have you got to say?
Hello everybody, and how nice to see you again and again.
And as you can see, we're in an awful lot of traffic on the roundabouts.
Moscow Avenue, darling. Moscow Avenue.
So we're going to go left. That's the Kings Avenue Paphos Mall to our right now. We're going to go left along this what's called the dual carriageway through the Tomb of the Kings area, and it'll be about 20 kilometres. So that's about 15 to 16 miles before we get to our destination, which will be Coral Bay. And as we go on our travels, I'm going to try and talk you through some of the businesses, some of the buildings that are on our route, and give you some focal points. And Miss Oching with Stevie Booth will look beautiful and say some bits and bobs as well.
You know, I would like to say first of all that we are happy to show you these old routes, because sometimes you will get a car, sometimes you will need these routes, and perhaps we will be very helpful.
Well, hopefully that's the general idea, because the most popular route from people who are staying in Paphos is normally Coral Bay, because it's the #1, shall we say, beach resort in the Paphos area. So stick with us as we travel the route. It's a very simple route. It literally is a very straight road. So you haven't got to turn left, you haven't got to turn right until you arrive in Coral Bay, and then there's a nice signpost that says to the left. So it's very, very simple. And as I said, it's about 20 kilometres in total, which is approximately 16 miles if you're talking in English. So just in front of us now to the right is the King's Hotel, and one of these days we are going to go and do a hit and run on that hotel, that is for sure. To the left of us is the former Raffles Bar, which well, unfortunately it's closed down and now it says it is for sale. And then just further down is what's called the Queen Vic pub, and if I scan the camera around you can see there's a lot of Union Jacks outside it, because of course this is the Jubilee weekend celebrating 70 years of Queen Elizabeth on the throne. And as usual, all the traffic lights are in red except if you're on a bicycle. Laws don't seem to apply.
Jubilee means
it's a celebration date, so it normally commemorates the amount of years, like 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, 50 years. This is 70 years. Jubilee. So this is her 70th year on the throne, or that's my understanding anyway. Right.
My Jubilee was this year, my Jubilee.
Your Jubilee?
Yes.
What was your Jubilee?
My Jubilee.
What, you're 70?
No, 20 less.
Right,
why
20
didn't
less.
we celebrate my Jubilee?
We do celebrate your Jubilee, and you've just forgotten that you end up with an awful lot of presents.
Yes, but
that's
we
right.
didn't have do music and Jubilee, for Queen.
Well, I think we were in the middle of COVID-19, and I'm not quite as wealthy as the
I want the
family.
Jubilee.
You want a Jubilee, right? Okay. So this is the Tomb of the Kings area. Sorry for the distraction. Various restaurants and bars, and then there's quite a useful place there, which is the Evangelist Hospital Medical Centre. So if you want to get something done, or you cut yourself or fall over, that sort of thing, that's where you would go. There is the KFC, and over there is the Gusto Restaurant Taverna, very, very popular restaurant, in particular on a Sunday. As it mounts up through the summer season, it gets very, very busy indeed. And here are, well, this is the roundabout we're coming to now, which gives its name to the area, because this is the Tomb of the Kings roundabout. If you go left, you go into the area which is the Tomb of the Kings, and you pay €2.50 each, and you can have a walk around some catacombs and some old monuments and walk along the beach. Some of it's very nice, some of it, well, it's not so nice, but if you're into that kind of thing. Now the booth, keep very carefully along here. Take your foot off the accelerator and I'll put the cruise control on. There we go. And now we cannot get arrested by the gun barrels. So if you need to stop, just put the brake and it'll knock it off. So we're now in cruise control, because this part of the road, if anyone's going to hire a car, this part is where the Gumbarus in blue are waiting for you.
Yeah, but I'm
right at the end, as you leave the 50 zone, that's where they're waiting for you, and most people start to accelerate and they get you. So the moment you go over 69 kilometers an hour, you're going to get stopped and an on-the-spot fine of approximately 75 euros. And if you are a tourist, not resident of Cyprus, it is on the spot. No arguments. Simple. So it's an absolutely beautiful day today, Lviv. It's a little bit of cloudy in the sky. It's not quite as blue as it should be, but it still is a beautiful day, and it's around about 28, 29 degrees. The summer season certainly is approaching us very, very rapidly indeed. Now, the area that we are approaching now is, if my pronunciation is correct, it's called the Mutabalos area. So my pronunciation, Mutalos, right? So my pronunciation is a bit Sherlock Holmes, but that's the area we are approaching. And to give you a bearing, to the left of us we have the Aspire British School. So that's a private school. Not only British go there, but they are teaching the British curriculum and teaching through the medium of English. Hence, it's called the British School. And many international children go there, including locals alike. So if you've got around about 8,000 to 9,000 euros for the year for the fees, and a couple of thousand for the books, and let's say a couple of thousand in pocket money, you're going to send your children there. So around about 12,000 euros all in, I would say, which compared to school fees in the UK, well, it's a bargain, shall we say, because you're not putting your child through public school in the UK unless you've got £25,000 upwards. And if you want to go to somewhere like Chartered House, well, you need an awful lot more than that. So here we have an Aristo development on the beachfront down here, next door to the King Elephant Hotel. It's actually the King Eliathon Hotel. No,
King
it's not.
Avelthon.
Sorry, King Avelthon Hotel, so which Oching Receiving LaBouffe is correcting me. But I like to call it the King Elephant. That's a 5-star luxury hotel. And again, one of these days, we are going to do a hit and run on that and see what it's like. Well, we're going to go in there and see how the other half live, shall we say. And you never know, we might get a cross-end with diamonds on it. So here we are now approaching the downtown Chloraka area. Quite a popular area with foreigners, mainly British, although the popularity at the moment is dying out a little bit and they are more prone to being impaired, which we will end up in eventually. LaBouffe, what have you got to say? You're speechless. LaBouffe has lost for words. She's concentrating.
First of all.
She's actually thinking, is there any shops around here?
Confusing the names of the elephants.
The elephants. Well, we like to confuse the name of the elephants because it's the King Elephant Hotel, and that's what it will be known for the rest of its days. Now, this road, if you've not been to Cyprus for the last year or so, you may have heard me in a previous video complaining about this surface being Sherlock Holmes, which means S-H-I-T. Anyway, last month they resurfaced this section of the road, and to be honest, it's not too bad now. The good old girl doesn't seem to think it's that unsmooth, so we're having quite a pleasant ride. So here we are in downtown Chloraka. This is the beach side of Chloraka, and there is the uptown part of Chloraka, which at the next traffic lights, if you were to turn left, you would go down to the King George Hotel, and if you were to go right, you would go up King George's Hill, and you would end... Sorry. Saint. I'm thinking about the Jubilee and the Queen and the King and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, this Oching Receiving LaBouffe has corrected me correctly.
There's too many queens and kings going on in your head.
There's a lot going on in my head, correct. So at these traffic lights, like I was saying, if you go left, you go to the St. George Hotel, and if you go right, you will go up into Chloraka Village or Chloraka Town, because it is quite a big area. And again, if you've not been here for a few years, most of it has been, shall we say, rejuvenated, and it's now a one-way system, which sometimes is confusing for the locals. That's one of my little jokes. Anyway, here we go. Here is the Laura Beach Hotel, a luxury 4-star hotel with its own splash world. So that's basically water slides and that sort of thing for the children or the adults. I know an adult over here that likes to go down the splash boards and the splash pools and the tunnels.
Yes,
because she thinks she's about 8.
To annoy Mr. Paul when he says, you can't take her anywhere.
You cannot take her anywhere.
You know. And he's taking me everywhere.
I like to take her absolutely everywhere. There is the Barrakas Lounge down there. If you go hunting through our videos, you will find our feature on that one a couple of months ago. And again, a very, very nice bar to go and have a drink, chill out, or a snack or a full meal. They do a full gourmet menu as well. And the views to the plage, because it's elevated above the blue Mediterranean Sea, make the views truly spectacular, that is for sure. So as we leave the Chloraka area, we're in a bit of what's they call no man's land, and then we will end up in Kissonerga. So stick with us for a little bit further and Kissonerga will appear. Doesn't seem to be that much traffic around today, though.
Yeah.
It's quite quiet. There's one of my favourite tipples. Watermelons. Absolutely love them.
The last time you bought watermelon, I was going watermelon, and it cost you 20 euros.
Yeah. Well,
20 euros.
It did, yeah.
Per watermelon.
Mm-hmm. The price of watermelons at the moment in Cyprus is quite high. It's around about 275 to 295 per kilo. And unfortunately, I like watermelon, so I buy it.
Yes.
But as the season continues, the price plummets and it ends up at roughly about 25 cents a kilo. So you end up buying a massive watermelon for €1, and it's wonderful. I eat it non-stop.
Because you always want to be the first. You always want to try the first.
Yes.
And you did try, and you did. Your wallet suffered.
Unfortunately, my wallet suffered. But anyway, that's life. So let's continue. Here we now have another rather nice hotel, which has actually been rebranded. Now it is called the Atlantica Group Hotel.
It's supposed to be a Amalthea hotel.
Well, it was, wasn't it? The
Many
Amantha
years
Hotel.
ago.
But I'm not sure what the hotel is now. Perhaps Ian, our subscriber, can go and check it on Google and let us know. It's been taken over and it's now owned by the Atlantica Group, which owns the Aphrodite Hills Hotel, and it owns a big one over there. No, keep going straight, LaBouffe. LaBouffe has been sidetracked because she saw a shop called Revival, which is a series of 4 shops owned by the same lady, Miss Judith, and it's a shop that sells clothes, handbags, jewelleries, so you're getting the idea why Miss LaBouffe got sidetracked. Anyway, right.
Anyways.
Keep your eye on the red light, LaBouffe.
Anyways, never mind.
Yeah. Now, to the left-hand side here is a supermarket in Greek, I can't say it, and then it's got the RAF Cafe, which I can read, and that coffee that they make in the end there, I promise you, it's the greatest coffee I've ever tried, and it's a reasonable price of €2.50 for a hot latte or a cappuccino. And whenever I come along here, I always stop. So on the way back, we're going to stop and have a rather nice coffee there.
Frutopolitea.
Sorry?
Frutopolitea.
That's LaBouffe. Right, Atlantica Mare Village Paphos. So that is a new hotel that was it started construction about 3 years ago, and it actually opened late last year. Whether it did much business last year because of COVID-19, I don't know, but now it's fully open, that's for sure. So we're going to drop down now to what's called the Kissonerga traffic lights, and at those traffic lights we're going to continue straight. But if you were to turn right, you would go up into Kissonerga village. Again, quite a popular village with expats. There's a lot of villas around there and a lot of apartment blocks where expats live, full-time or holiday homes. And again, it's a very nice area, very convenient for Paphos, but quite quiet, shall we say. So as we drop down here, this is known as the Kissonerga Crossroads traffic lights.
Beautiful.
And here you have a very big kiosk, which has a coffee shop as well to our left, which is the Bayside kiosk. Hence, it's on the bay. And then the next thing along is the CU Beach Bar, which, as its name suggests, is on the beach, and it has a truly spectacular view. And you can lounge on their sun lounges for a modest charge. You can eat, you can drink, and you can go swimming. And it's quite a nice place to chill out. And it's very busy most days of the week in the season, particularly on a Saturday, Sunday. And there is the blue Mediterranean Sea, which tells us that the next stop is definitely going to be Coral Bay. And if we look over there, the peninsula sticking out is Coral Bay. I think we can go a little bit faster, LaBouffe.
Yes.
Yeah. Miss LaBouffe is still pondering on shops. She's thinking she's missed that shop, and now she's hoping that in Coral Bay there'll be a shop open, and maybe, just maybe, she can get her little fingers into my little pocket and see if she can extract some fulus, which is the Arabic word for money. My what?
This pocket, your pocket is not big.
Is it big? Miss Oching Receiver Ledoof. Ledoof? I'm losing my English. Does tend to like big things. Anyway, let's continue. This is the last straight road before we arrive at our destination, which is the resort area town, which is called Coral Bay, which is part of the Paya area or Paya district, and it's hugely popular with foreigners and locals obviously, but I think if I remember rightly there's about a population residents of around about 8,000 people, and about 4,000 of those are foreign residents, so that's 50% or thereabouts. The majority of those are British, that means English, you know, Irish, Scottish and Welsh. Then there's quite a lot of Russians, quite a lot of Ukrainians, quite a lot of Germans, quite a lot of French, and quite a lot of Swiss and other Scandinavian countries. And I know this because many of them are my customers. So I come to Paya pretty much every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Often Miss Oching Receiver Ledoof, that's the beauty, says to me, where have I been today? And I say, well, I went to Paya, I went to Paya, and I went to Paya. So that shows you how many foreigners live in Paya, because our business, to all of them, will be here a while.
Tina and George. When you said Paya, I thought, oh, Miss Tina.
Well, yeah,
Miss
Tina, Miss George, Mr. George, sorry, we haven't forgotten you. I apologise, Mr. George.
You're losing your English.
And when you come back, I understand you're going to be looking for a property in Paya. Hopefully you're going to find the property of your dreams, because there's plenty to choose from in Paya, that is for sure.
Where I'm going.
We have arrived pretty much at a destination, so at the roundabout Miss Oching Receiver Ledoof, as the sign says, take a left and go into Coral Bay. Woohoo. And we'll go and park up, and then we will reboot and come back and do the Coral Bay strip.
The tiger over there. Oh.
So this is the Coral Bay strip. Now if you come back for the next video in 4 hours time, you're going to see us walking up and down each side of the road, chatting hopefully with some old friends, and hopefully we'll find some new friends, and we'll try and explain to you some of the restaurants, some of the bars, and some of the things that are going on in downtown Coral Bay today.
I wonder if Mr. Othello
He's open. Yeah, he's open.
Is he?
There he is. That's Othello's restaurant. There he is. There's Mr. Demetrius. So we're going to have a chat with him, because he is one of our gun barons, that's for sure. Right, so what's left for me to say now is thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like, click subscribe, and please come back for some more of our madness. Oching Receiver Ledoof.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. I'm glad that we've seen Mr. Demetrius in Othello is open, and see you in the next of our madnesses. Sorry, I'm driving, I have to be concentrated, otherwise Mr. Paul will go.
Yeah, thanks for watching.